In this video, I have this little bluebird that I painted a few days ago, and I also have these green leaves and leaf branches that I want to clean up, and I thought I'll bring you along for the process. Not sure yet what I am going to do with it, but I'm thinking I want to use the leaf branches for a simple blender pattern. And today what I want to do is just go ahead and clean it up a little bit, and maybe we can arrange for the card. I try to use my art and leverage it and use it in different applications. I like greeting cards, creating the greeting cards, and I also create several patterns, so I want to use these for both at some point. But for now, let's go ahead and I'll show you my process on how I clean up this art. So let's start with the little bird and these branches. For this one, I'm thinking the first thing I want to do is to maybe just clean up the background just a little bit and see. I'm a little bit concerned here with the light colors. I have good edges, but just a little bit here at the top in the bird's head, so I just want to keep some of that, some of those hairs. So the first thing I want to try is this flood select tool. Let's try that. I usually start with a tolerance relatively small. Make sure it is contiguous. You don't want to pick any of the white that may be inside, like here inside the eye. And let's go ahead and make sure we're in the right layer and select the white, and let's see, it's looking good. It's looking good in the area that I had a little bit of concern, so that's good. And I'm thinking that down here it's picking up some extra pencil lines from my sketch, but I can remove that with the eraser, so I think this looks okay. So let's go ahead and delete that and hit escape. And now there's some areas here that I want to remove in white as well, so let's remove that. Maybe a little bit of this one here, and maybe this area here as well. I think for the rest I'm going to need to do a little bit of cleaning with the eraser, so let's select the eraser tool, increase the size just enough. There's some areas that we can, like this area here, there might be some things around the bird, and I want to zoom in. And these are pencil lines that I want to clean up just enough. And I don't want to remove all the white or get too close, because I'm going to do that using the shrink and grow, the selection, and remove some of the pixels, remove those white pixels around the artwork, but I want to remove some of these stray ones. And here as well. Okay, that's starting to look good. And then I want to get into some of these areas, small spaces here. Small spaces to remove some of this color. Okay, now the next step is I want to separate the bird from the branches, so let's do that. We can use this freehand selection tool and just pick them up and put them in their own layer. So Control X for cut and Control V to paste, and this escape, and then we can select these, hide it for a moment, and then we can select this long branch and Control X to cut, Control V to paste, escape. So everything's in its own layer. So let's go back to the bird and let's zoom in as close as we can. So here what I usually do is to go ahead and click Control and click on the layer in the actual icon using the move tool. Click Control, click on the layer. It's going to make a selection of the area, and I have a macro that I use that basically what it does is shrinks by 2 pixels, feathers by 0.5, selects the inverse of this selection, because right now we are selecting the bird, so it's going to select everything outside of the bird, and then delete that. So I'll show you. I'll just go ahead and show you an area where we have a lot of that white and show you how it what it does. So just click on the macro, and it did remove some of the white, but we still have, in some areas we still have some of that white. So sometimes I like to run it again, and then sometimes we have areas that are still need a little bit of cleanup, but the cleanup is a lot less after you do that. So we still need to run that again, but I'll show you how to do it manually. So in order to do the same thing that we just did in the macro manually, the first step again is make the selection, Control, click on the bird icon in your layers panel, make sure you have the move tool selected. Then in the select, you want to go to grow and shrink, and then here we want to use -2 because we want to shrink that selection, we want to bring it in, and then hit apply, and then select feather by 0.5 pixels and hit apply. And I'll just show you here so you can see that the selection is in just enough by about 2 pixels, so it's going to remove all that. Now it's selecting the bird, so I want to select the inverse of the bird, everything outside of that. So select invert pixel selection, and now you can see, if you zoom out, you can see that it's these marching ants are around on the outside, so we know that we've inverted this selection. So now we can go ahead and delete. I'll show you. Now when we hit delete, you'll see how much it removed. There may be still some areas, for example here, I may want to clean that up a little bit, and for that I go ahead and use the eraser, and there's some areas like here as well I want to remove some of these colors. Okay, that looks fairly good. I'm thinking that I could probably even remove a little bit more of the artwork. Actually in here I just want to clean this up just enough to make it a little bit smoother on the belly of this little bird. So I want to just clean that up just enough. I like that better. And I have a bird now that I can use for my cards, or I can use for a pattern. Now let's go ahead and clean up some of the other I like this leaf branch, and we have to do the same thing, clean up all that white border. And I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and run the macro first. Make sure we have the move tool selected. Select click Control and click on that the layer icon. It's going to do the selection, and let's run the macro 2 pixels. And 2 pixels, it's good, but we still have all these, so let's run the macro again. Make sure we have the move tool selected, Control, click on the layer, you have the selection, and shrink by 2 pixels, feather by 0.5, and delete the extra. Okay, so that removed a lot of the white already. There's some other areas that I may want to clean up, either using the magic wand, for example here in this area. I think I can remove some of that. Just the tolerance is still at 5%. We can do a little bit, maybe 10%, and let's see if we can remove the rest. Yes. And then for these smaller areas, we can use the eraser and erase that a little bit. Okay. So that looks good. So now we have the bird and the branch, and let's go ahead and create a greeting card. So file, new. I have a 5x7 300 dpi. If it shows here horizontal or landscape, just click on the portrait here at the top. And in the color, I use the sRGB standard. I like the transparent background and no margin. So go ahead and click create, and we can just copy the two layers, the bird and the branch. Control copy and Control V, and let's select the bird first, and we're gonna make it a little bit smaller so it looks and place it in here right in the center. The one thing I want to do is to build the background, so just select the rectangle tool, bring that layer all the way to the bottom, and usually I want to use a color from the actual artwork. So what I usually do is just head over to my swatches, click on create a palette from document, and usually I add it as an application palette, so I have it available in Affinity Designer and Affinity Publisher if I need it later. So it gives me all these colors from the document, and I want to select the background and maybe use one of these lighter colors, and I think I want it even lighter, so I'm just going to double click on the color and move it up just enough. I like that. And then I want to use the branch and select the move tool. I had a rectangle that I don't need. Make sure that I have the move tool selected, and then let's move the branch in. I like these kind of like this size. Maybe we can hide some of the bird under it, over there, just and then if you want to duplicate, just hit Alt and pull the layer, and I'm thinking that I want to do this one here on this end, but I want to move it behind the bird, and I'm thinking I want to duplicate again, actually move this here, and I want to kind of frame the bird, and then here when it's selected, I want to flip it horizontal, so you can head over to arrange and flip horizontal. I have it set up in my keyboard at F5, so I just hit F5 or just click on it, and kind of like something like this, and maybe this one I want to move it this way, and maybe the bird and this one just move it down just a little bit. The same with this one. Okay, I think this looks good. Going to the artistic text tool and just say happy birthday, and maybe we can pick a better font. Select the text layer, and we can try to change the color. Go to the effects and just add color overlay. Select it, and the colors, we can go ahead and select the color from make sure we move this around. I like that color actually. It's looking good in this green, and that looks good. I want to maybe put this in two, and then center it. And actually, and the next thing I want to do, maybe go to characters here at the top with the big A in the characters. It's going to open the character tools, and sometimes I try to use all caps, and that looks good. So it looks good. A little bird, simple birthday card. I think one thing I want to do, maybe I want to bring the bird forward just a little bit, and what I can do is head over to the effects and maybe add an outer shadow. Let's see how that's going to look. Let's add just a little bit so you can see it's bringing the shadow. So we're going to do a little bit of offset and modify the intensity. I don't usually modify the intensity, but I do modify these opacity so it's not so that it blends a little bit better, so the end that is not so sharp, and I like that. It looks let's see, looks good. Let's see, I think it's a little bit too much, so I will still change the opacity just enough and bring this in just a little bit. Let's see. Okay, it has enough of a shadow to bring the bird forward just a little bit, but it looks good now. It looks a little bit better. Another thing that I can do is to try to use a different font here. I think this is a good starting point. So I hope you like this short video. I'll bring you back again in a few more days to show you another part of my process. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.